Today, I want to talk about why it's a good idea as a buyer when you're buying a house to research and find a good title company and not just merely rely upon some recommendations, but to really call around and ask questions. Recently, we had a transaction where a buyer, in order to win the contract and get the house, agreed to use the title company associated with the listing brokerage. And so they signed the contract, sent it off, did the title search, and it came back and there was a title issue. And the issue was that the seller had refinanced way back when, long time ago, and had paid off a deed of trust and thought everything was good. Well, unfortunately, the lender did not send in the certificate of satisfaction stating that the mortgage was released. So this is a problem. And to top it all, it was a 1989 deed of trust. So the solution that the title company was going to do was they were going to require the seller to pay an indemnity bond, and then they would issue a policy to the buyer, title insurance policy, that would take exception to this unreleased deed of trust. So there would be no coverage under the title insurance policy. So the broker for the buyer agent called me and she said, Karen, this is a scenario. Is there anything you can do? And this was on Friday night, and closing was supposed to be the following Wednesday. So I said, you know what, send it over and let me look at the contract. Let me make some calls, see what we can do. So she sent it over. I looked at it and I said, you know what, I think we can solve this. So the parties agreed to switch the title, the contract, mind you, on Monday, with a closing for Wednesday, right? So they decided to switch title companies and they sent it over to us. Because of the particular title issue, and the buyer wanted it to be clean title, not insurable title, they wanted it completely clear. They agreed to extend the closing by a few weeks. So we did research, we got all the information, we Googled, we tried to find this lender or their successor to see if we could reach out and say, hey, you guys need to file a certificate of satisfaction to state that this lien is released. Well, unfortunately, we weren't having any luck. So I reached back out to the listing agent and I asked her, I said, hey, can you talk with your client to see if they have any documentation from when they did their refinance? Because maybe based on that, we can then go to that particular lender and we can ask them to resolve this issue. She said, I don't know. It was a long time ago. I said, look, I get it, but you would be surprised. So she went back to her client, who, lo and behold, had kept every single piece of document related to the refinance of the property. And inside the folder, he had the original certificate of satisfaction from that lender who had the deed of trust on the property. So she provided it to us. I said, this is great. This is fantastic. We can record it. Title will be clear and everybody will be happy. And sure enough, the buyer was thrilled. The seller was thrilled, and the transaction closed and everybody was happy. So I share this with you because it is a good idea to do research on title companies when you're selecting them, because it is important. You never know if a title issue will pop up, and what lengths does that title company go to in order to solve the problem. Are they the ones that will do the investigation to find the solution? Or are they simply going to say, you know what, we'll just slap a title insurance policy, we'll cover it, no big deal? Because that could make or break a transaction. As always, if you have questions, please feel free to post in the comments below. I look forward to hearing your feedback, your stories, and I will see you in my next episode. Thanks and take care.